Betrayal, in its essence, is the violation of trust, a tearing apart of the sacred bond that knits souls together. Unlike other offenses, betrayal strikes at the very heart of our relationships, leaving wounds that are far deeper than the surface injuries of mere conflict or misunderstanding. What makes betrayal so uniquely painful is the closeness of the one who commits it. It is not a stranger or an enemy who betrays us, but someone we trusted, someone to whom we opened the gates of our heart. This closeness, meant to be a source of strength, becomes the weapon that strikes us down. The pain of betrayal lies in its ability to distort the foundation of our lives. Trust is not merely a convenience, it is the bedrock upon which human connections are built. In trusting others, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. We share our secrets, our fears, and our dreams, believing that these precious pieces of ourselves will be safeguarded. When betrayal occurs, it feels as if that sacred trust has been trampled underfoot, leaving behind a sense of profound loss, not just of the relationship, but of the very meaning we once attached to it. Another reason betrayal cuts so deeply is its ability to make us question our own judgment. We may ask ourselves, how could I have trusted this person? How could I not have seen this coming in this way? Betrayal turns its blade inward, causing us to doubt not only others, but also ourselves. This self-doubt can become an echo that resonates long after the initial act, making it difficult to trust again, even in relationships that are entirely new and untainted. Betrayal also carries a sense of injustice. It is one thing to face difficulties in life that are random or unintentional. It is quite another to endure harm that is deliberate. When someone betrays us, it is not merely a passive act, it is an intentional breaking of trust. This sense of intentionality magnifies the pain, for it is not just the betrayal of trust, but the betrayal of love, friendship, or loyalty that wounds the soul. Perhaps one of the most painful aspects of betrayal is its ability to isolate. It creates a chasm between us and the world, leaving us feeling alone and misunderstood. We may hesitate to share our pain with others for fear of judgment or rejection, and this isolation compounds the suffering. Betrayal whispers lies to our hearts, telling us that we are foolish, weak, or unworthy of true loyalty. Yet these are distortions, shadows cast by the act itself, and not the reality of who we are. And yet, despite its devastating impact, betrayal also reveals something profound about the human condition. It shows us how deeply we yearn for connection, how vital trust is to our existence, and how, even in the face of brokenness, there remains within us a capacity for resilience. To endure betrayal is to carry a cross, but it is also an opportunity to discover the strength of our spirit and the enduring power of hope. In this way, betrayal, though cruel and painful, can become a crucible, refining us and teaching us what it means to truly heal and grow. Betrayal is an experience that pierces not just the heart but the soul, leaving emotional and spiritual wounds that can be difficult to articulate, let alone heal. When someone we trust betrays us, it disrupts the delicate fabric of our inner world, unraveling our sense of security, belonging, and purpose. The pain of betrayal is multifaceted, touching every layer of our being and shaking the very foundations upon which we build our relationships and our identity. It is a burden that weighs heavily, demanding not just emotional endurance, but also spiritual resilience. On an emotional level, betrayal often brings with it a sense of profound loss. It is not just the loss of trust in another person, but also the loss of what that relationship represented: love, loyalty, or a shared vision for the future. This loss is compounded by feelings of shock and disbelief. When betrayal strikes, it catches us off guard, leaving us reeling in confusion as we try to reconcile the actions of the betrayer with the person we thought we knew. The initial reaction is often one of denial, a desperate attempt to cling to the illusion that what has happened cannot be true. But as reality sets in, it is accompanied by a wave of emotions: anger, sadness, humiliation, and despair. Anger, in particular, can be overwhelming. It is a natural response to the injustice of betrayal, a way of expressing the deep hurt that has been inflicted. But anger, if left unchecked, can consume us. It can turn into bitterness, a corrosive force that eats away at our capacity for joy and connection. Sadness, too, can be debilitating. It is the grief of losing not just the relationship, but also the dreams and hopes tied to it. This sadness can be isolating, as it is often difficult to share the depth of our pain with others, leaving us feeling alone in our suffering. On a deeper level, betrayal affects our sense of self. It can make us question our worth and our judgment. We may wonder, what did I do to deserve this, or how could I have been so blind? These questions can lead to self-doubt and a diminished sense of confidence. Betrayal has a way of turning our thoughts inward, forcing us to examine not only the actions of the betrayer, but also our own role in the relationship. While this introspection can be a source of growth, it can also be a source of torment if it spirals into self-blame or shame. The spiritual toll of betrayal is equally profound. Trust is not merely a social construct, it is a spiritual act. To trust another is to open oneself to the possibility of connection, vulnerability, and love. Betrayal violates this sacred act, leaving a void that feels both emotional and existential. It challenges our beliefs about the nature of humanity, the presence of goodness in the world, and even the role of divine providence. We may find ourselves asking questions like, why would God allow this to happen, or what is the purpose of such pain? For some, betrayal can lead to a crisis of faith, a questioning of the very foundations of their spiritual beliefs. It can feel as though the betrayal has not just come from another person, but from the universe itself. This sense of abandonment can be deeply isolating, making it difficult to find solace or meaning in spiritual practices that once brought comfort. Yet for others, the experience of betrayal can become a turning point in their spiritual journey. It can push them to seek deeper understanding, to wrestle with questions of forgiveness, justice, and redemption, and to find a sense of peace that transcends human understanding. Despite the immense pain it causes, betrayal also holds the potential for profound transformation. The emotional and spiritual toll of betrayal is a testament to the depth of our capacity to feel, to trust, and to love. While betrayal wounds us, it also reveals the strength of our spirit, the resilience that allows us to face such pain and emerge on the other side. Healing from betrayal requires both emotional courage and spiritual perseverance. It requires us to confront our pain, to process it honestly, and to seek not just closure but renewal. In the aftermath of betrayal, we may discover that our wounds, while painful, have made us more empathetic and compassionate. We may find that the process of rebuilding trust, both in ourselves and in others, deepens our understanding of what it means to truly connect with another. And we may come to see that even in the darkest moments of betrayal, there is a glimmer of hope, a reminder that we are not defined by the actions of others, but by how we choose to respond to them. Ultimately, betrayal forces us to grapple with some of life's most profound questions. What does it mean to trust? How do we forgive? Where do we find the strength to carry on? In seeking answers to these questions, we grow not in spite of the betrayal, but because of it. While the scars of betrayal may remain, they become a testament to our journey, a reminder that even in our brokenness, we are capable of healing, growth, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging yet liberating acts we can undertake, especially when faced with the pain of betrayal or harm. To forgive is not to excuse the wrong or pretend it never happened. It is, rather, a conscious decision to release the burden of resentment, bitterness that weighs down the soul. Yet forgiveness does not require forgetting. The idea of forgive and forget may sound noble, but in reality it oversimplifies the complexity of human emotions and the lessons that pain can teach us. True forgiveness involves a balanced letting go of the desire for vengeance, while retaining the memory of what happened, not as a means of holding a grudge, but as a way to learn, grow, and protect oneself in the future. Forgiveness begins with acknowledging the hurt. To forgive without recognizing the depth of one's pain is not genuine forgiveness, it is denial. When someone has wronged us, the emotions that arise, anger, sadness, confusion, and even humiliation, are valid. These feelings are part of the natural human response to injustice. Ignoring them in an effort to move on quickly can lead to unresolved pain that resurfaces in unexpected ways. The process of forgiveness requires us to sit with these emotions, to honor them as evidence of the significance of the relationship or the trust that was broken. Only by acknowledging the pain can we begin to heal. The decision to forgive is not about the other person, it is about reclaiming our peace. Holding on to resentment can feel, at times, like a form of justice, a way of keeping the other person accountable for their actions. Yet, in truth, resentment often does more harm to the one holding it than to the one who caused the harm. It becomes a heavy chain, tying us to the past and preventing us from fully experiencing the present. Forgiveness is a way of breaking that chain, of freeing ourselves from the emotional captivity that comes with harboring anger and bitterness. It is not about condoning the act or absolving the person of responsibility. It is about choosing our own well-being over the desire for revenge. However, forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Forgetting can be dangerous, especially when it erases the lessons learned from the experience. Remembering what happened serves as a form of wisdom, a way to protect ourselves from similar harm in the future. It allows us to set boundaries, to recognize red flags, and to approach relationships with greater discernment. Remembering does not mean dwelling on the pain or reliving the hurt, but rather holding on to the knowledge that the experience has imparted. In this way, forgiveness and memory work hand in hand, allowing us to heal while also growing wiser. Learning to forgive without forgetting also requires us to redefine what forgiveness means. It is not about reconciling with the person who wronged us, although reconciliation may be possible in some cases. Forgiveness is a deeply personal act, independent of whether the other person apologizes or changes their behavior. It is about releasing the emotional hold that the act of betrayal or harm has over us. Forgiveness does not always lead to restored trust, nor should it. Trust is something that must be earned, and it may not be wise or safe to extend trust to someone who has proven untrustworthy. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is freely given, not because the other person deserves it, but because we deserve peace. The act of forgiving while remembering also aligns with our deeper sense of justice. It allows us to let go of personal vendettas while still holding space for accountability. Remembering what happened ensures that we do not enable harmful behavior or allow ourselves to become victims of repeated harm. Forgiveness without forgetting is not a passive act, it is an empowered choice to rise above the hurt, while retaining the strength and clarity to navigate future challenges. On a spiritual level, forgiveness is a profound act of grace. It reflects our recognition that all humans are flawed and capable of error. To forgive is to acknowledge that we too may have caused pain to others, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and that we are in need of forgiveness ourselves. Remembering, however, ensures that the lessons of the past are not lost. It allows us to transform our pain into wisdom, to use our experiences to guide others, and to approach life with a deeper sense of empathy and understanding. Ultimately, learning to forgive without forgetting is about balance. It is about holding on to the memory not as a source of pain, but as a source of strength and growth. It is about choosing to release anger and bitterness while embracing the lessons that the experience has taught us. Forgiveness is not a one-time act, but a journey, a process of healing that unfolds over time. By learning to forgive without forgetting, we honor both our humanity and our resilience, finding freedom not in erasing the past, but in transcending it. Betrayal, while deeply painful, has the potential to be one of life's greatest teachers. It carries with it an intensity of emotion that can break us open, forcing us to confront the rawest parts of ourselves. While no one willingly seeks betrayal, its presence in our lives can be transformative. Pain, though excruciating, can be a crucible, a refining fire that burns away illusions and reveals truths we might not have seen otherwise. The process of turning pain into wisdom is not immediate or easy, but it holds the promise of redemption, growth, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. When betrayal occurs, it shatters the trust we have placed in another person. This rupture is agonizing, but it also provides an opportunity to examine the foundations of that trust. Were there warning signs we ignored? Did we idealize the other person, overlooking their flaws? Pain invites reflection, and in that reflection, we begin to uncover the patterns and beliefs that may have led us to this point. It is not about blaming ourselves for the betrayal, but about understanding how we can protect our hearts and nurture healthier relationships moving forward. In this way, the pain of betrayal can become a mirror, revealing areas of growth and self-awareness. Betrayal also forces us to confront the depth of our own emotions. The anger, sadness, confusion, and even numbness that arise are indicators of how deeply we cared about the relationship. While these emotions can feel overwhelming, they are also evidence of our capacity for connection and love. To feel pain so acutely is to know that we are alive, that our hearts are capable of great vulnerability and great strength. By sitting with these emotions rather than running from them, we begin to build resilience. Each wave of pain, when faced with courage, strengthens our emotional endurance and teaches us the value of honoring our feelings. As we process the pain of betrayal, we begin to see it not just as an ending, but as a beginning. Every betrayal carries within it a seed of transformation. It pushes us to reevaluate our values, our priorities, and our sense of self. What truly matters to us? What kind of relationships do we want to nurture? What boundaries do we need to establish to protect our peace? These questions, though prompted by pain, lead us toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. Betrayal strips away the superficial and forces us to confront what is real, both within ourselves and in our relationships. The journey of transforming pain into wisdom is also deeply spiritual. Betrayal can make us feel abandoned, not just by the person who hurt us, but by the universe itself. In these moments, we may question the fairness of life or the presence of a higher power. Yet it is often in the depths of our despair that we discover the strength of our faith. Pain humbles us, bringing us to a place where we must rely on something greater than ourselves, whether it is the support of loved ones, the comfort of spiritual practices, or the quiet assurance that we are not alone in our suffering. This reliance fosters a deeper sense of trust, not in others, but in our own capacity to endure and grow. One of the most profound aspects of betrayal is its ability to teach us empathy. Having experienced deep pain, we become more attuned to the pain of others. We understand what it feels like to be hurt, to feel vulnerable, and to question our worth. This understanding can become a wellspring of compassion, enabling us to connect with others in a more meaningful way. Our wounds, once healed, become a source of strength and wisdom that we can share with those who are struggling. In this way, betrayal not only transforms us, but also equips us to be a source of light and hope for others. Finally, the redemptive power of betrayal lies in its ability to redefine our relationship with ourselves. In the aftermath of betrayal, we often find ourselves alone, forced to confront who we are without the validation or support of the person we once trusted. This solitude, though painful, is a gift. It gives us the space to rediscover our own worth, independent of others' opinions or actions. We learn to value ourselves not because of what others see in us, but because of what we know to be true about ourselves. Betrayal, then, becomes a catalyst for self-love and self-respect, teaching us that our value is inherent and unshaken by the actions of others. In the end, betrayal does not define us, our response to it does. By choosing to transform our pain into wisdom, we reclaim our power and rewrite our story. The scars left by betrayal become a testament to our resilience, a reminder that we are stronger than we once believed. Through reflection, growth, and the courage to move forward, we discover that even the deepest pain can lead to profound redemption. Betrayal, though devastating, becomes a chapter in the larger narrative of our lives, a chapter not of defeat, but of transformation and triumph. Betrayal strikes at the heart of our vulnerability, leaving us exposed in ways that can feel unbearable. It lays bare our trust, our hopes, and the pieces of ourselves we entrusted to another. In the wake of such pain, the instinct is often to retreat, to build walls so high and impenetrable that we never risk being hurt again. But in this act of retreat, we may also cut ourselves off from the beauty of connection, the joy of openness, and the strength that can only be found when we embrace our vulnerability. Finding strength in vulnerability after betrayal is not about ignoring the pain or pretending it didn't happen. Rather, it is about leaning into that vulnerability, recognizing its power, and allowing it to guide us toward healing and growth. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness. After betrayal, this misconception can become even more pronounced. The pain we experience feels like proof that being vulnerable was a mistake, that opening our hearts and trusting another was a flaw in judgment. Yet, vulnerability is not what caused the betrayal. It is, in fact, one of the greatest acts of courage a person can undertake. To be vulnerable is to risk, to step into the unknown with the possibility of both joy and pain. It is the essence of living fully, of connecting deeply with others, and of being true to oneself. The betrayal, painful as it is, does not diminish the value of vulnerability. Instead, it highlights its importance, for it is only through vulnerability that we can truly experience love, trust, and belonging. After betrayal, finding strength in vulnerability begins with self-compassion. The pain of betrayal often comes with a barrage of self-critical thoughts. How could I have let this happen? Or I should have seen the signs. These thoughts can make us doubt our ability to trust not just others, but ourselves. Yet, vulnerability requires us to extend the same kindness and understanding to ourselves that we would offer a dear friend. It invites us to recognize that trusting someone and being betrayed does not make us foolish, it makes us human. Self-compassion allows us to process the pain without being consumed by it, creating space for healing and the courage to remain open to life's possibilities. Vulnerability also demands honesty with ourselves and with others. It requires us to confront the full scope of our emotions, no matter how uncomfortable or painful they may be. Betrayal often brings with it a complex mix of anger, sadness, fear, and even shame. Suppressing these emotions may provide temporary relief, but true healing comes from acknowledging and expressing them. Vulnerability means allowing ourselves to grieve, to cry, to rage if necessary, and to share our pain with those we trust. It is in this openness that we find release and the beginnings of renewal. One of the most profound ways vulnerability fosters strength is by deepening our relationships. In the aftermath of betrayal, the temptation is to isolate ourselves to avoid the risk of being hurt again. But isolation only compounds the pain, leaving us feeling alone and disconnected. Choosing to be vulnerable, to reach out to trusted friends or loved ones, to share our story, and to accept their support can be transformative. It reminds us that while one person may have betrayed us, not everyone will. Vulnerability allows us to rebuild trust, one relationship at a time, and to experience the healing power of connection. Perhaps most importantly, vulnerability after betrayal helps us rediscover our authenticity. Betrayal can shake our sense of identity, making us question who we are and what we stand for. In moments of vulnerability, we strip away the masks we wear to protect ourselves and return to the core of who we are. We allow ourselves to feel deeply, to embrace our imperfections, and to recognize that our worth is not defined by the actions of others. This authenticity becomes a source of profound strength, empowering us to live with integrity and courage. As we find strength in vulnerability, we also begin to see betrayal in a new light. While it is undeniably painful, it is not the end of our story. It is a chapter that challenges us, yes, but also shapes us in meaningful ways. Through vulnerability, we learn to navigate pain with grace, to hold on to hope in the face of despair, and to emerge not unscathed but unbroken. The experience of betrayal, when approached with vulnerability, becomes a crucible for growth, a place where strength is forged not through avoidance or denial, but through the willingness to face our pain and remain open to life's possibilities. In the end, vulnerability is not just a response to betrayal, it is a way of living. It is a commitment to show up fully, to risk connection, and to embrace both the joys and sorrows that come with being human. Finding strength in vulnerability after betrayal is not about forgetting the pain or pretending it didn't hurt. It is about acknowledging that pain, learning from it, and choosing to remain open despite it. It is about discovering that our greatest strength lies not in our ability to protect ourselves from hurt, but in our ability to rise after it, stronger, wiser, and more courageous than before. Hope is one of the most remarkable forces within the human spirit. It shines even in the darkest of circumstances, whispering that tomorrow holds the promise of something better. After betrayal, when trust has been shattered and wounds feel raw, hope often seems distant, obscured by the weight of pain and disillusionment. Yet it is precisely in these moments of despair that hope becomes most essential. It calls us to move beyond the wounds, to embrace the possibility of renewal, and to recognize that our pain, while profound, does not define the entirety of our existence. Betrayal can feel like an emotional earthquake, leaving behind a landscape of brokenness where once there was stability. It is natural to grieve not just the loss of trust, but also the future we imagined with the person who betrayed us. The pain is amplified by the sense of unfairness, of being wronged without justice. In these moments, it is tempting to give in to bitterness or to believe that nothing good can come from such hurt. But hope, even when faint, offers a quiet reminder that healing and renewal are not only possible, but within our reach. To embrace hope after betrayal is not to deny the reality of pain. It is not about pretending that the hurt did not happen or rushing to find a silver lining. Instead, it is about acknowledging the pain while choosing to believe that it does not have the final word. Hope asks us to take a step forward, however small, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. It is not a passive emotion, but an active choice, one that requires courage and trust in the process of healing. Renewal begins with the understanding that pain, while devastating, has the potential to transform us. Every wound carries within it an opportunity for growth. In the aftermath of betrayal, we are given the chance to reflect on what truly matters to us, to reevaluate our relationships, and to discover strengths we did not know we possessed. While we would never choose betrayal as a path to growth, the experience of moving through it can deepen our resilience, sharpen our discernment, and expand our capacity for compassion. Renewal is not about erasing the pain, but about allowing it to shape us into wiser and more grounded individuals. A key aspect of embracing hope and renewal is learning to trust again, not just in others, but in ourselves. Betrayal often leaves us questioning our judgment, doubting our ability to discern who is worthy of our trust. Rebuilding this confidence takes time, patience, and self-compassion. We must remind ourselves that trust is not an all-nothing proposition, it is a gradual process. By extending trust in small, manageable ways, we create the space for new relationships and experiences to flourish. More importantly, we learn to trust our own instincts and boundaries, recognizing that our worth is not diminished by another's failure to honor it. Another pathway to renewal is reconnecting with sources of joy and meaning. Betrayal can cast a shadow over our lives, making it difficult to see the beauty and goodness that still exist. Yet, even in the midst of pain, there are moments of light, an encouraging word from a friend, the comfort of a familiar song, the quiet peace of nature. By actively seeking these moments and allowing ourselves to experience joy, we remind ourselves that life is abundant and multifaceted. The betrayal, though significant, is only one part of our story. Hope grows when we nurture these moments of joy, however small, and let them guide us toward a fuller, richer life. Forgiveness, too, plays a role in embracing hope and renewal. Forgiveness is not about condoning the betrayal or absolving the one who caused it. It is about freeing ourselves from the weight of resentment and bitterness, which can keep us tethered to the past. By choosing to forgive, we release the hold that the betrayal has on our hearts, making room for healing and new possibilities. Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves, a declaration that we will not allow the pain to dictate the course of our lives. Ultimately, embracing hope and renewal beyond the wounds is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is a declaration that we are more than the pain we have endured, that our capacity for love and joy remains intact even after heartbreak. Hope reminds us that life is ever-changing, that the seasons of pain will eventually give way to seasons of growth and abundance. Renewal invites us to step into those new seasons with open hearts, ready to embrace the beauty and opportunities that await. In time, the wounds left by betrayal begin to heal. The scars remain, but they no longer throb with pain. Instead, they stand as evidence of our strength, our ability to endure and rise again. Hope does not erase the betrayal, but it reframes it as a chapter in a larger story, a story of resilience, transformation, and the unwavering promise of renewal. Through hope, we find the courage to live fully once more, knowing that even the deepest wounds can lead to a greater sense of purpose and wholeness. Betrayal is one of life's most profound trials, a breaking of trust that leaves us carrying the cross of pain and disillusionment. Yet, as with all trials, it carries within it the seeds of transformation. To endure betrayal is to walk through a valley of shadows, but it is also to stand on the threshold of growth, wisdom, and renewal. We cannot undo the betrayal we have endured, nor can we erase the scars it leaves. But we can choose how we carry those scars. They need not be marks of defeat, but badges of survival. Through forgiveness, we learn to release the hold of bitterness and reclaim the power of our own hearts. Through reflection, we gain the wisdom to recognize true loyalty and the courage to set boundaries that honor our worth. Most importantly, betrayal teaches us the paradox of strength in vulnerability. It shows us that even when trust is broken, the capacity to trust again is not lost. It reveals that hope is not extinguished by pain, but rekindled in the quiet moments when we dare to dream of love, connection, and healing once more. To carry the cross of betrayal is to walk a difficult path. But it is not a path without purpose. It is a journey that refines the soul, deepens our understanding of ourselves and others, and ultimately leads us to a place of renewal. In choosing to rise above the pain, we affirm the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring truth that, even in our brokenness, we are capable of profound beauty, grace, and strength.